Hello everyone, welcome to the Organic Agriculture webinar series. Today we have Mr. Malinta Gajanayaka with us. Malinta represents the delegation of German Industry and Commerce in Sri Lanka. Welcome to the program, Malinta.
Thanks, Chatura. Thank you, and thanks for having me.
To kickstart the program, Malinta, let's start with a brief introduction to yourself.
My name is Malinta Gajanayaka. I represent the German Industry and Commerce in Sri Lanka, better known as HK Sri Lanka. I attended DSNL College, Colombo, and earned a bachelor degree in Business Management and Administration in year 2008 from the University of Sunderland in UK.
Right, Malinta. So when did you join AHK?
Well, from the inception, AHK was established in Sri Lanka in 2018. So from inception, I was involved, and I joined here AHK.
Right. And what is your mandate in AHK operations, Malinta?
Currently, I'm holding the position of Head of Corporate Affairs and Export Promotions, as I mentioned earlier. So I have two hats as the Head of Corporate Affairs, Chatura. Some of the key responsibilities are to build a relationship with German companies and their partners in Sri Lanka and offer political advocacy for companies involved in business, bilateral businesses between the two countries. I also play a role as a mediator when it comes to lobbying to overcome different challenges, to present new proposals to Sri Lankan stakeholders. With my export promotion hat on, I support the Sri Lankan companies with market information, market entry support, enhance business opportunities, both directions, increase export capacity, and also transfer of know-how through different platforms.
Right, Malinta, thank you very much. And Malinta, I want to know more information about AHK. Can you explain about the organization and its mandate?
Sure. Well, Chatura, AHK was established through verbal note exchange between the two countries with a clear intention to promote bilateral economic relations between Sri Lanka and Germany. Well, we are double mandated. We have official mandate to represent German businesses outside Germany. And the other mandate is to provide services to German companies and their representatives in our partner country. So in this case, Sri Lanka. We are a part of a global network of 142 offices, and we are present in 92 countries. HK Sri Lanka is co-funded by the Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Action, representing 3.6 million German companies. HKs are always committed for fair business and offer the ideal platforms to create business opportunities for their partner countries. Currently, Chatura, we have 170 plus German brands present in Sri Lanka, covering a wide range of business verticals.
Now, Malinta, we would definitely like to know more information about AHK's activities in the country. But just to start, when did AHK started its operation in Sri Lanka?
We started in 2018 March 27th to be precise.
Right. And Malinta, can you bring out any example interventions that you had very recently, where our exporters can relate to?
Well, Chatura, there's quite a few. German businesses are engaged in almost all business sectors in Sri Lanka. Example, logistics. We have world market leaders in Sri Lanka present in logistics sector, same as medical, construction, agriculture, automobile, tourism, IT, list goes on. So we cover a lot of the whole range of business verticals. From the inception, Chatura, we have identified and we have given a priority to agriculture sector. Because of that, we have formed an agriculture sector committee, consist of local and German companies. At sector committees, what we do, Chatura, we discuss common challenges, opportunities, and new proposals coming in from the sector committee members. And we, as an independent organization, we present these ideas, challenges to relevant ministries, authorities, and stakeholders. If I just take you through some of the highlights, in 2020, we organized the first ever Sri Lankan pavilion at International Green Week, which is recognized as the world's largest trade fair in the food industry, both conventional, processed, fresh vegetables, and 12 Sri Lankan companies were able to display their products to the international market and meet potential partners, not only from EU but also internationally. It's an international trade fair where more than 500,000 visitors come under one roof. We were able to organize more than 60 B2B meetings or individual meetings for the Sri Lankan participants, with example, Chatura, retail chains, distributors, wholesalers from the EU state. One highlight during that trade fair or the Sri Lankan pavilion was that Sri Lankan pavilion was the only Asian country pavilion that the German Federal Minister of Agriculture visited. So we had a lot of visibility through international media, the German media coverage. So that was a great opportunity for the participants or the exhibitors and the Sri Lankan flag to be visible. And in 2021 August, we organized a virtual conference. In fact, we wanted to do physical event, but unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we couldn't accommodate it physically. We organized a virtual conference on organic agriculture, followed by individual meetings. So Sri Lankan organic food suppliers were able to meet the international partners or distributors, retail chains, and to have individual discussions. I think we managed more than 80 individual meetings. This initiative was funded and supported by the EU and GIZ. I think this was a golden opportunity for Sri Lankan organic suppliers to openly discuss the opportunities, demand, as well as the bottlenecks and solutions directly with the international players. I was also involved in this discussion, so I also gathered some information or details how Sri Lanka can move forward. One more successful initiative we conducted recently, Chatura, was the first ever Sri Lankan pavilion at the Fruit Logistica exhibition in April 2022 in Berlin. Fruit Logistica is also recognized as the global platform for fresh fruits, vegetables, and spices. 6 Sri Lankan exporters were under the Sri Lankan flag. So Sri Lankan participants were able to meet buyers from all over the world and to have bilateral meetings. I see it's moving on a good shape. I see they are moving forward with their business discussions via email. The negotiations are going. So that's some of the highlights, Chatura, what we have organized so far.
Thank you, Malinda. Thank you for that explanation. I think these are very important, very crucial interventions for the export sector, especially for the agricultural export sector in the country. Now, Malinda, the theme of this recording, the episode, is organic agriculture, and I'm sure that you have engaged with quite a lot of organizations in Germany which want to represent Sri Lanka. in terms of organic agricultural exports as well. Now, what I would like to ask from you, Malinda, is that based on your opinion, how do you see the growing demand for organic exports in the world, especially in the European Union region?
Sure. Chatura, EU by far is the fastest growing organic market worldwide. The global market for organic food reached, I think, 106 billion euro in 2019. Retail sales in the European Union were valued at 41.4 billion euro in 2019. Overall, EU is responsible for 45% of global trade in fruits and vegetables. As the latest organic retail figures from the EU, Germany was responsible for 11,970 million euro in 2019. So from the EU states, I think Germany is by far heading the market. According to a survey done, Chatura, on organic retail sales growth in the EU in 2010 for organic consumption or organic sales, it was 18 billion euro in 2010. And by 2017, it has increased to 34.3 billion euro. So we can see a sustainable and a steady growth in the demand for organic products globally, global consumption. So there's a high demand, and the consumers are also pretty much going on the right direction. They are very concerned about going organic. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for Sri Lanka, Chatura.
Right, Malinda. And based on your explanation, it's very clear that the demand for organic exports are growing in the world, and this increased demand is very significant in the European Union region as well. Now the question, Malinda, is that is Sri Lanka in a position to cater this demand? Based on your assessment, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, Chatura, we all agree on the potential of Sri Lankan products. However, we need to look at a mechanism to enhance our capacity while maintaining the quality. Also, the local suppliers and companies should look at a bigger picture and be prepared to fulfill the global standards. Now the retail chains, distributors, and even the end consumer are very concerned about what they buy and what they consume. And I think only way to build confidence and also penetrate the market is through maintaining both product and social standard. So I think if the Sri Lankan companies can fulfill both social and product standards and also enhance capacities, I think we have a good chance to enhance our export capacities in the future.
Now, Malinda, based on your assessment, what are the major bottlenecks that our organics exporters face?
Well, Chatura, if you look at overall organic, including organic, I think a few things need to be fine-tuned according to my knowledge and my experience. First, number one, I think we need to put up a steady national policy and a structure in place where all stakeholders, from the farmer, the field officers, authorities, and the exporter exporters need to have a clear vision of this national policy and its ultimate goal. And that goal post cannot change overnight or whenever there's a change of administration. I think that is number one. Number two, we need to conduct regular education and refreshing programs for farmers. I'm particularly looking at field officers because they are the people who take this message to the farmers, departments. So all of them are updated with the required social and product standards, international standards. Number three, Chatura, we need to start creating a story of our products. We need to start selling the story instead of selling the price tag. I think this is the best time for Sri Lanka when we have got the GI approval for Ceylon cinnamon. We need to start building up an attractive story. Example, we must see how French they sell their cheese, how the Germans are famous with their beer, or say South Africans how they are famous or how they sell their citrus fruit. So we also as a nation need to come up with a proper strategy or story for our products. I think that is the way forward, Chatura, without just concentrating on a price tag. And also number 4, Chatura, we need to have a strong marketing strategy. Sri Lankan flag and products need to be visible at these world's leading trade fairs. No matter we have the best of cinnamons, we have the best of tambilis, we have best of tea or cinnamon, it's no point if these products are not being marketed. So I'm a strong believer, Chatura, of trade fairs. Through my experience, I can say that the easiest platforms that we have to take this message or to build confidence to the international partners, not only to build our businesses or exports, but also to know the latest technology, and also mainly, Chatura, what I mean by this is our tag made in Sri Lanka needs to be visible. Chatura, if I give you some facts, 2/3 of world's largest trade fairs take place in Germany, and I used to travel frequently to these trade fairs or exhibitions. And I'm sad to say that the Sri Lankan flag is not much visible at these international or important events, where our competitors or our neighboring countries are always present with a very strong campaign. So Chatura, looking at a bigger picture, we need to look at this very aggressively, openly, and organize organizations like us and GIZ, EU, and also Sri Lankan missions overseas can support and guide the sector. So these are few things which came to my mind, Chatura, that needs to be fine-tuned to tap the market or to penetrate the international market.
And I fully agree with all the points that you mentioned. We have to get our act together, starting from policy to marketing ourselves in the international arenas. And now, Malita, you previously talked about some of the significant activities that AHK has done so far. And now I would like to give you an opportunity to talk about current and upcoming events. I'm pretty sure the exporters who are joining with us are really interested in knowing them.
Well, yes, Chatura, as I mentioned earlier, we have given significant importance to agriculture sector. We conduct sector-specific webinars, conferences, field visits, capacity building programs on our own, as well as with the EU delegation, as well as GIZ. So other than that, we officially represent few international trade fairs, as I mentioned earlier, related to agri sector, like Fruit Logistica, Asia Fruit Logistica, International Green Week. So we organize country pavilions since we officially represent these trade fairs in Sri Lanka. So Sri Lankan companies and stakeholders can contact us to be part of these delegations. I think it's very important that we are visible in the international market. Last but not least, I must mention that as the official representative of German businesses in Sri Lanka, we stay committed and independent to support both Sri Lankan and German companies in the agriculture sector per se, in this case.
And as a final question, any exporter who is watching this, if they want to link up with AHK in terms of getting support, what is the mechanism?
Anyone who wants to get in touch with AHK can connect. Can visit our website and get our contact details. We are a small team of 8, but a very dynamic team headed by a chief delegate. And well, Germany is currently one of the strongest economies in the world, and we have to admit that. And we have the outreach, as I mentioned earlier, for more than 3.6 million German companies. So stakeholders can utilize our global network as well, because we are present in 142 locations in the world, in 92 countries. And we have, Chatura, we have wide range of services what we provide the exporters or Sri Lankan companies. Like anyone who wants to know about the marketing in Germany, we are happy to support vocational training. One other aspect that we are very strongly believing in, we have a separate department. Two colleagues are working very closely with the Sri Lankan companies in terms of vocational training. As well as Chatura, legal services. Any Sri Lankan company who wants to set up their entity in Germany, they can reach out to us. We support the German companies when they're establishing their companies in Sri Lanka. We used to guide them. So likewise, we are very much happy to support Sri Lankan companies in legal services, as well as debt collection. We support companies. Event management, we support the companies. Translation, partnership programs, we have services to enhance visibility, as well as we have a monthly newsletter which goes out to more than 3,000 subscribers, both in Sri Lanka and Germany, and the decision makers of the companies get this monthly newsletter. So there are several services that we can support the Sri Lankan companies, and if it's needed, and any company who wants our service can reach out to us through our website. Our email addresses, contact details are given.
Thank you, Malinda. Thank you for sharing those information. And with that, Malinda, we come to the end of our discussion. Thank you very much for giving us time to have this talk. I think it's very useful for our exporters to know what HK is and what HK is doing in the country. Let's hope you will have quite a lot of inquiries from the exporters to join hand with your activities. Thank you, Malinda.
Thank you, Chatura. Thanks for having me and also giving the opportunity for HK Sri Lanka. And also, I would like to wish you and your team for a successful webinar series. I think this is very important. What you are doing currently, the requirements and the opportunities for exporters. I think that's a very important initiative what you all are carrying out. And I wish you all the best again.
Well, with that, we come to the end of our discussion. Those who viewed us, thank you very much for joining, and we wish to come back to you with a brand new episode very soon. Thank you.